What fictional character is portrayed as a good or innocent person? That, when you think about it, is an awful human being? Glinda, the Good Witch of the East, the Wizard of Oz. She could have told Dorothy how to get home from the beginning. She said, "Only bad witches are ugly," then asked Dorothy if she was a good witch or a bad witch. Bitch. The girl from 13 Reasons Why. She just killed herself and blamed a bunch of people who never had the chance to defend themselves. How would you feel if someone left a note saying that you were the reason they killed themselves? But you had no idea they even had an issue with you. I'm not saying the characters she names are totally innocent. But that book and series glamorized the idea of revenge suicide and really sticking it to those who wronged you. This is an extremely dangerous way of thinking, and to a young adolescent mind which hasn't fully developed, the consequences can be tragic. Grandpa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Bedridden and unable to work but can dance when Charlie shows up with the golden ticket. Also, he's got tobacco money but his family is literally starving. Dis. Honorable mention to Daniel from The Karate Kid. Dude becomes a bully too once he gets confident in karate and ultimately wins with an illegal kick to the head. Rory Gilmore. All the friends from Friends. Horrible humans, and if you remove the laugh tracks it's obvious. Not a human being technically, but honestly, Goku gave Cell a damn senzu bean. Lily Aldrin from Him. I re-watched an episode of The Simpsons called Homer's Enemy, and I was surprised. You feel bad for Frank Grimes at first. Of course. But as the episode goes on you realize that as hard as his life has been, Grimes isn't really a good guy at all. He's humorless, arrogant, entitled, and he isn't willing to live and let live. Homer Simpson may be stupid and lazy, but he's way more kind-hearted than Grimes is. The Kid from the Giving Tree. While I'm not sure if he fits the question 100%, I think Jesse Pinkman gets way too much credit for being a terrible person relative to the average human population. Rachel from Friends. Rachel is perceived as the hotshot chick, but she is pretty entitled, selfish, and throughout her entire relationship and break with Ross she never really did much to love him. Just the bare minimum. I understand she came from an entitled background, but she remained selfish and made fun of Ross a lot, even if they were civil. A lot of the Friends characters have flaws, but she is just on another level. Nick and Elizabeth from The Parent Trap. Each of them made the decision to completely abandon one of their children because they didn't want to see each other again. Are you telling me they couldn't figure out some sort of third-party custody swap? They had to go straight to pretending one of their children didn't exist. James Bond has always been a sociopath. On the face of it. Cool special agent charged with taking down the worst of the worst, but in reality, he's a fucking serial killer. And it's not just the people he shoots and karate chops. How many day laborers and janitors have been incinerated by an explosion? How many innocent bystanders have been killed as Bond rides a motorcycle firing on a bad guy's car? Stray bullets everywhere. He has certainly accidentally killed a baker's dozen of children. He's also predictably racist, sexist, and a dedicated nationalist who will violate any immigration law. Steal whatever he needs to continue his hunting and killing. He does not care about you or me or anyone. He is a killer. And does he show remorse? Does he take on this heavy burden of a license to kill with regret and trepidation? A reluctant killer? Oh no. He kills and kills and kills and suffocates the voices of his many victims with a series of Martinis and one-night stands. The man is a danger to the world. Daniel Hillard, Mrs. Doubtfire. He deceives his ex-wife and children and spies on them under an assumed identity and tries to kill his ex-wife's BF by putting pepper in his food knowing is allergic. Rose from the Titanic. She had a family. A long marriage, but on her deathbed she only thought of that homeless guy who railed her on a boat for 2 days. Then the guy who spent his entire life hunting for the heart of the ocean due to its historical significance. He finally finds it and she yeets it into the ocean in front of him. Then some dude fucking finds it, gives it to Britney Spears. That's canon, look it up. Rose was a bitch. Severus Snape. A noble ending does not excuse child abuse or a lifetime of acting out because your crush doesn't like you. The girl from B-Movie, the true villain of that movie. Bella from fecking Twilight. I love both you turd baskets, but I love cockatoo hairdo a bit more. What a love story. Caillou. Peter Pan. I can't remember the original story, but I read a retelling of how Peter Pan was a narcissist that never let the kids leave and always forced them to play games. It kind of made sense.